on the farm today, and we've had a lot of rain, but it's kind of stopped, and the wind's blowing west to east, and the blue skies are starting to return. Going to try something on this farm we haven't done before. We need to put a little bit of fertilizer on this field right here, so one thing we've never done on this farm is use bulk fertilizer. We've always used 50-pound bags, 40 and 50-pound bags of fertilizer. So we're going to try some bulk fertilizer. I got a bag right here. This is actually a 1,000-pound bag, and I say 1,000 pounds. There's 1,000 pounds in here, and obviously it's a 2,000-pound bag. Now, the reason for that is that the Model 50, my number 2 Model 50 Massey Ferguson, the Model 100 loader on this tractor is only rated to lift, I believe, if I recall, it's 1,500 or 1,800 pounds. It's not quite 2,000 pounds, so I don't want to overdo it, you know, with 1-ton bags on this tractor, and then, you know, the front end. I realize this tractor's only 60 years old, but still, I'd like to keep from breaking the front end in half. Certainly the axles are definitely heavier than what you'd see on a 135 or a Massey 35. But anyway, if I can get the loader to lift that bag into my fertilizer spreader, then I can move on to second base. So right here is the number 1 Massey Ferguson Model 50, and it's getting a charge on the battery. It's got a low tire. I've been running over a lot of autumn olives with it. I'm surprised they're not all flat. But this is my Kubota spreader. It's a Vicon, and so with this hopper right here, I've talked about it in some other videos, and I'm sure this thing's completely filthy on the inside, and it is. But with this hopper, I can put 1 ton of fertilizer in here. So the goal, eventually the goal is to take this spreader, put it on the big Massey Ferguson 1105, put a ton of fertilizer in here, and then go to town spreading. And of course the 1105 has enough weight to keep from, you know, raising up. It can handle this kind of a load. And so I got a few things to do to this spreader. There'll be other videos on it. I need to secure, I just got this hopper extension laying on here. I got to drill some holes and screw it down, and then there's a reinforcement kit that goes on here that kind of braces up this 3-point hitch area right in here, so that when you do put the hopper on, the frame is sufficient to handle the load. So I got to do that. And then down at the bottom, I'm not going to open it because of all the junk down there, but there's 1, 2, 3 openings in the bottom of this spreader. And so I'll be closing off 2 of those openings with what's called a thin seed kit. And basically, what's going on here is I want to use this spreader to potentially spread some seed on the field we just came from over there at my barn, and a few other places. I can use my trusty herd spreader. It would be just fine as well. But the real purpose of the thin seed kit and it may be called something else, thin application. I don't really remember, but we're not putting down in the near term crazy amounts of fertilizer. So in order to, and what has happened, and I think I've showed it on the other videos, is in order to get the rate that I want, those openings, which they're pretty big, in order to reduce that size and limit how much fertilizer is coming out, they're just barely cracked open. Well, that's just a recipe for a clog. And when you put the thin application kit on it, I think that's what it's really called, what it does, when you take two of those holes out, then it forces the third one to be opened much more, and the likelihood of a clog is reduced. But you can limit how much fertilizer or seed goes out of the spreader. So I'm gonna give that a try. In order to do that, I got to get down in there, and the way that works is this hopper is held on. You see that thing right there? You just take that loose. I'm gonna take one loose on the other side, I think, and then you can just lift it out of there, and then you can put your hands right on that agitator, and that's got to come off because the thin application plate goes down on there. It just blocks off two of those openings. So but the goal is to take that bulk, have it up in the air, cut the bottom of the bag, let it fill up the spreader. And I need to look into reusable bags. They charge me like 20 bucks for a bag, which I guess is fine, but you know, if you have a bunch of them, then it could get a little expensive. So I'm sure they're out there, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's ever thought of it. But this is the Kubota spreader. It's a Vicon. It's a VS600. The yellow part. When you add this on, it's a VS1000, and I think that is in kilograms. 2,000 kilograms, 1,000. I don't really remember, but it will hold 2 tons. 1 ton of fertilizer, 2,000 pounds. So I want to kind of get this thing rigged and ready to go. So I've idled up the Model 50 out there so it'll charge. It's got a generator on it, and I need to move this farm all out of the way. I think I'm gonna put the fertilizer right in here, which is another good reason to clear out these old bales. So let me see if I can get this thing to start. I'll try to ease it out of here in low first gear. It's not exactly cold today, so sometimes, you know, when it's trying to warm up and you pop the clutch, it'll talk back to you a little bit. Alright, that's probably good enough. And I'll let this thing run some. I may use it and move some of that crap out of the field. But let me get back to the Model 50 and the loader. Before I get to the Model 50, I want to pull up some tarps that are laying under all this stuff, and because I'm going to rid this barn of all of these tarps. I can't tell you what kind of passionate hatred I have for tarps, but it runs deep. I just need to get this out of the way for right now. They have their place somewhere, but it ain't on this farm anymore, I don't think. My only concern, because the tarps hate me too, and my only concern is they'll spontaneously catch on fire or something, and there I'll be with a barn burnt to the ground over a stupid tarp. But I've got a pallet I'm gonna put down in here. Let me get that. I thoroughly hate pallets too, and this one's been outside, so it's got a little moisture on it. I'm gonna throw some of this loose hay up there to try to soak some of that stuff. This is what I'm gonna put the bulk bag on. I'll come back. Alright, let's see. That works. That's a good thing. Alright, let me mosey over to that bulk bag. Alright, I'm sure there are better ways, but what I'm going to do is chain this up, loop the chain up onto that thing right there, and see if I can lift this thing straight up. The challenge is going to be lifting it without hooking it into the side of this trailer and knocking a hole in the bag. Anything's possible on this farm, including dumping 1,000 pounds of fertilizer on the ground. I'll come back. Okay, I got the bag hooked up, I think. So let me see if I can lift this thing. Probably need to pull up just a little bit and tilt my bucket down some, but it'd be nice if I had hooks on the front here, but I don't. I'll come back. Okay, so not exactly a precise landing here, but fortunately I can move the pallet around some and get this thing to come down on it. Oh, let's see here. If this seems tedious to the viewer, it's a lot less tedious than handling however many 50-pound bags. I think it's 20 50-pound bags. This is a lot easier on my back. My nerves are a little jangled because I've never really picked up this kind of weight with this tractor, but it seems to be doing just fine. Alright, let's ease it down. Alright, let me adjust my pallet. If I can. Hang on. Whoop. Try not to stand under the bucket. Go back that way just a touch. Wrong way. There it goes. The fertilizer only comes up to like right here. That's why I'm mashing it down. I just want it so I can get my hands on the chain and unhook it. So I'm pretty pleased with what I've done here with the old Model 50, and obviously, I'll get this loose. Obviously, OMG. Okay, whoop, one more. Like I said, this is a lot easier on my back. You know, even at 1,000 pounds, than you know, a bunch of 50-pound bags. And then the more we have, all right. So the more we have, I mean, the more back savings going on here too. And I mean, I'd like to have a tractor with a, you know, a lot nicer loader, but I got what I got. And so I got what I got, and mission accomplished. So I could I had plenty of room to lift it higher and hold that thing over top of the fertilizer spreader. Probably what I need to do is get a strap and a clevis instead of using a chain. But you know, if I destroy this bag, it's going to get destroyed anyway, because I'm going to cut a slit in the bottom of it when I empty it. So anyway, that's the idea, is to be able to get ourselves some 1,000-pound bags of fertilizer. I'd like to have 2,000, but like I said, the loader won't handle it. And So I don't need to destroy an otherwise great tractor. And so I think I've got something here, and I'll be getting some more bags of this over the next few months. I think I want to hammer second cutting really hard with fertilizer. I'm not too interested in first cutting. This stuff out here, I'm gonna be putting a lot of it down out there, because I want to the seed that I'm gonna plant, I want it to kind of kick off a little bit. But there it is, 1,000 pounds of fertilizer. The Model 100 Massey Ferguson loader, all-purpose chain. '62 Massey Ferguson Model 50, 3-cylinder Perkins diesel, hay spear, farm all, John Deere 5055D, the backbone of the farm, the yet to be tried 335 John Deere baler, and a bunch of other stuff back that way. We're very anxious to get started here, and for haying in 2023. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll talk to you later.